They allegedly beat this Arizona teenager to death and then bragged about it on Snapchat. They shared videos and pictures thinking they're so cool for ganging up on this innocent kid. But the sad part is that most of the accused are upper middle class high schoolers who think mommy and daddy can buy them out of trouble. And they might be right. So the question is, do you think Preston Lord can get justice? I'm Amy. This is your recap. It's October 28, 2023, a Saturday night in Queen Creek, Arizona, and there is a wild Halloween party going on. This is just one of many 911 calls from the neighbors.
911 emergency.
Can we please get an officer at the corner of 197th Place and Via de Palmas? There has got to be at least 250 kids here. They're walking the streets. We're not used to this. I'm not used to this in my neighborhood from being here 25 years. There's too many cars. These kids are going to hit each other. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get killed.
According to the homeowner, the person whose party the house was at, it was only supposed to be a small gathering of local teenagers who were friendly with their daughters. But someone put the address on Snapchat and it spread like wildfire. So by 9:42 that night, dozens of cars had descended upon this ordinarily quiet neighborhood. So over 100 costumed teenagers crammed into the backyard, with a lot of them, of course, spilling onto the street and into the neighbors' yards. You know how it is. The 16-year-old Preston Lord learns about the party like everyone else does, through Snapchat. It's not clear what time he got to the party, although he was probably there to witness the fight that broke out in the backyard, allegedly between members of this gang called the Gilbert Goons and, other partygoers. It began as just like a shouting match sort of a thing, just verbal, but Preston and his friends witnessed the fight and they posted it on Snapchat. It's unclear who exactly posted that or what, but it's just that group of kids posted it. So that's when 18-year-old Preston Billy allegedly approaches the group and demands that they delete the video. So Preston is allegedly part of a violent street gang from Gilbert, the next town over. That's why they're called the Gilbert Goons. And honestly, their name is crazy, but they sound terrifying. It's a group of teenagers, and they're known for cornering people in parking lots, public parks, outside restaurants, house parties, and then beating them within an inch of their lives. Can you imagine? So up to this point, they haven't actually taken a life and they haven't expanded into Queen Creek, but after what happens next, all that's about to change. So around 9:45 p.m., the homeowner at this crazy Halloween party comes out to find all these kids in their backyard, so they shut it down and they kick everybody out. By 9:49, Preston will be on the ground in the street clinging to life. Dozens of teenagers are pouring into the streets. 911 calls come in about speeding cars, drunk kids, throwing up in people's yards. But Preston and his friends are also trying to leave the party. But police say these Gilbert Goons follow them out and confront them on the road. According to multiple witnesses, these guys are taunting Preston and his friends, singing that song na 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 na, hey, 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 goodbye, which seems like a really weird way, a very West Side Story way for a gang to be taunting a group of kids, but it definitely gets real fast. So then 20-year-old Dominic Turner allegedly grabs a gold chain right off of one of Preston's friends' necks. So 17-year-old Jacob Meisner allegedly throws the first punch, according to police, and then someone else gets punched, that kid falls and breaks his wrist. The whole thing is escalating crazy out of control. And Preston steps in to help. He's the kind of guy who wants to help his friends. He's brave. So that's when the gang turns their attention to him. But now it's 1 against 7, and they easily knock him down and beat on him. According to the police report, some guy is dancing on Preston's body while others are humping him, acting like they're violating him. You know what I mean? It's just sick. So by 9:53, he's unconscious and hardly breathing. 16 years old. One of his friends makes this call to 911.
Do you know, did you see the people that assaulted them? Did you see them well enough to get any description, or did you not see it actually happen?
They all had ski masks on, and it was...
How many was it?
A lot.
4 or 5 or more?
like 15.
Okay.
Now, as he's talking to the dispatcher, a group of adults are giving Preston CPR. They happen to be trained lifeguards who did not think that they would be trying to save someone's life that night on the street. But they are able to get a pulse, which may have kept him alive, at least for a little while. An ambulance rushes him to Phoenix Children's Hospital, where he's placed on life support. He never wakes up, and he dies of severe brain trauma 2 days later. Now, almost instantly, these disgusting Snapchat messages start making the rounds. One of the accused killers, 17-year-old Talon Renner, says in a snap, "I got in a fight, killed a kid, I guess I don't know my own strength." We'll circle back to Talon later, because trust us, what this kid and his family are accused of, dang, is enough to make your blood boil. Another accused killer, 17-year-old Talon Vigil, sends a snap saying, "I hit a kid. This kid fell, hit his head, and then they kicked his head in the ground. Then I got word he died, so IDK." In a separate text exchange involving 19-year-old Taylor Sherman, a message reads, "Talon killed someone with his hands," and someone else responds saying, "Bro, that kid died." And that's when people begin talking about alleged videos taken during the assault on Preston Lord, because apparently, allegedly, one of the things about this Gilbert Goons squad is that they video all these blitz attacks. Just makes it extra special. So someone messages Taylor Sherman saying, "Yo, tell me you didn't delete the video. It's $10K if you give it to the Popo." So he's talking about the $10,000 reward that police are offering for any information regarding Preston's death. Now, according to the police report, Talon Renner had a video of the attack on his phone. He shared that video with members of his football team while bragging about the beating, with allegedly saying, "Oh, I put this kid on life support." Just all allegedly. It's what they're accused of. So when news spreads that Preston is dead, Renner allegedly brags about beating him so severely that he had to have a closed casket funeral. I mean, it's unclear exactly who the gang's ringleader is, but by all accounts, Talon Renner is, I think it's fair to say, the most hateable character in this story, because he comes from a very wealthy family. He goes to American Leadership Academy. It's this charter school in Gilbert, Arizona, that a few others of this gang allegedly go to also. Well, his millionaire father, Travis Renner, is top brass at Relentless Media Agency. It's this marketing company based in Chandler, Arizona. He also owns a chain of smoothie shops, protein shakes. So after the murder, two of Travis's exes come forward with plenty of juicy details about this family. Now, one of them tells investigators that Travis has a habit of talking down to the police, always bragging about how he can buy his kids out of trouble. I say kids because Talon isn't the only delinquent in the Renner house. His older brother, Kyler Renner, is an alleged drug dealer and part of the so-called Gilbert Goons gang. Now, another of Travis's exes claims that he tried to cover for his son, Talon, by sending him away to their luxury cabin in the mountains after this fight, because he was supposed to stay there and let his hands heal before he came home. She says Talon is an angry kid, and it was only a matter of time before something like this happened, according to her. But the biggest red flag comes from one of Travis's employees at Relentless Media. So she came forward claiming to be an unwilling participant in the cover-up. She says after the attack, Travis conspired with his business partner to protect Talon and blame it all on Talon Vigil, because the names sound the same and it's all very confusing. So they allegedly backdated calendars, making it look like Talon left for the cabin before October 28th, and he was never even at that party. Well, those plans allegedly blew up in their face once police got search warrants for everyone's phone. Now, the charges couldn't come soon enough. People were sick of all the violence. These goons had been terrorizing them and their teenage kids since October of 2022. They turned over as many pictures, videos, and eyewitness statements as possible. So by January of 2024, the county DA's office had 1,800 pages of police reports to sift through, not to mention 2,000 pieces of evidence, 600 videos, all related to Preston Lord's murder. And of course, consider the timing here. This happened in October. Now we're going all the way past January into March of 2024 before police start making arrests. So community is way up in arms. But on March 6, 2024, police in Gilbert shut down the gated community where the Renners live. Talon was arrested, and then they went after Talon Vigil, Dominic Turner, and 18-year-old William Owen Hines. All 4 are charged with first-degree murder and kidnapping. Police already had Talon's brother Kyler in custody on suspicion of 2 gang attacks from November and December 2022. In January 2024, they had already arrested Travis Renner on suspicion of drug possession and paraphernalia. A day after they got Talon, police arrested 3 more suspects in connection with Preston's murder: Taylor Sherman, Tristan Billy, and Jacob Meisner. In all, police charged 7 people with first-degree murder and kidnapping, and if neither of those charges stick in court, they have second-degree murder as a backup. All of them pleaded not guilty, immediately. As far as the alleged cover-up goes, as of right now, no charges have been filed for that. Preston was a popular kid. This is just tragic. He was a student council member. He got good grades. He loved his friends. He loved playing basketball. He was close with his family. He'd been preparing for tryouts, which were supposed to be held the Monday after the party, but instead of dribbling up and down the court, getting a spot on the team, Preston dies in a hospital bed. As for his attackers, 3 of them were facing the death penalty until that got taken off the table. Not necessarily because they don't deserve it, but because the others are minors and they weren't eligible for it, especially when, according to the county, they're all equally responsible. So that said, all 7, regardless of their age at the time, are being tried as adults. But because this case is so complicated, it's already taken a lot of time to prosecute, and it will likely take even more time. So they say we won't hear more about these suspects and their charges until their trial starts in July of 2025. That is, unless one of them flips on the others. You know how that goes. The latest break, though, came in early May when the Gilbert Goons were officially categorized as a legal criminal street gang. That's important because it allows prosecutors to add new charges. It means they're not just a group of kids calling themselves a gang. No, they're an actual dangerous, violent gang. And that means that they can use gang affiliation as an aggravating factor during sentencing. For example, a second-degree murder conviction could net 10 to 25 years in jail. However, you throw gang enhancements onto that, you're going to get a little closer to 25. This is just such a crazy developing story, and I know there's tons of information out there, so be sure to comment if you know something, if you're familiar with any of these victims or these people. Let us know what we might have missed, what we need to catch up on. If you like getting all the crime in half the time, be sure to follow. Chris and I are here 3 times a week with new recaps. We love talking about this stuff with you. Really appreciate your time. See you soon.